Good morning, viewer. Welcome to our first active USA. Here's the breaking news. Yes, they tried to take a boat to safety. Then Russian rockets came running down. All Vladimir Nesterenko wanted to do when he grew up was to play basketball. The brown-haired 12 years old dribbled and shoot hopes with his dad Olhe in the village where they lived in Ukraine's southern Kherson region. He idolized NBA legend Michael Jordan. His mother Julia Nesterenko was happy to encourage the habit. We even had a basketball hoop at home. The 33-year-old told to the reporter as the and yes, she described their first family home. It was their nest, she said, with a small garden and a vegetable patch. When Russian forces captured the regional capital, also called Kherson, and its surrounding area soon after the invasion began, the family knew they could not stay. Julia said Russian checkpoints, armed forces, and officers of the FSB intelligence agency were reportedly flooding the region at the same time as disappearances and detentions of local mayors, journalists, and civilians became ripe, according to local officials and rights groups. It was time to get out of the occupied territories to safety in order to survive, Julia said. Russian had taken over their village Bharkhani, Rohachek, and the Nesterenko family feared the consequences. With nothing more than a back pay and their important documents, the family took what appears to be the easiest route out to Ukrainian held areas. She said on April 7, the family of 3 and 11 other people boarded an evacuation boat operated by a local resident crossing the Dnipro River from the southern Russian occupied part of Kherson region to the Ukrainian controlled territory on the other side of the river. The Dnipro, one of Europe's longest waterways, cuts through Ukraine and its Kherson region before flowing into the Black Sea. The broad crossing, which began at the bank of the finishing village of Parvo Maivka, should have been simple. It was the seventh evacuation trip by a boat from the village to a Ukrainian held area on the north bank of the Dnipro River since the war began, according to Oleksandr Vikelko, head of the military administration of Karavi Rihi in the neighboring region of Dnipropetrovsk. Instead, it turned into a bloodbath, according to Julia. Two other survivors, a friend of one victim, and several region officials, they described how Russian rockets and gunfire targeted the boat after it unintentionally drifted into the front line. Roman Celeste, head of the Karavi Eastern District Prosecutor's Office for Ukraine, told to the reporter that the boat drifted into the front line between Russian and Ukrainian forces and was fired about 70 meters from the shore. One survivor who declined to be named due to safety fears explained that the boat got lost in a smoke screen believed to have been created by the Russians. Reporters has been unable independently to verify this claim. This firing was made using a multiply rocket launching system, possibly GRAD, but we would be able to tell the exact type of weapon only after forensic is completed, Silis added. One of the survivors also said he believed they were hit by Russian GRAD rockets. When the boat's navigator indicated that the group had drifted close to the Russian-held village of Osokorivika, the morning silence was soon punctured with the sound of exploding rockets, the survivor said. Vladimir slammed bleeding into Julia's arms. My husband behind me also fell on me when he was shot in the head, Julia told to the reporter, her voice soft and monotone, seemingly but a fit of emotion after all she lost on the journey. Four people were killed in the attack that day. Olaha was among three to die on the boat. Vladimir died shortly after at a hospital. Another victim was a lawyer who had traveled to Kherson region to rescue her son and deliver humanitarian aid. The lawyer's friend Tatiana Denisenko told to the reporter, photos of the attack's aftermath showed what looked like the remnants of a rocket on the shore and bullet and shrapnel holes in the hull of the boat. Based on the shells and ammunition we saw in the area and on the shoreline, we could see the direction of shooting, which demonstrates that were coming from the southern direction, and that is the territory occupied at this time and under the control of the armed forces of the Russian Federation. Prosecutor Celeste, who is investigating the attack, told the reporter. Reporter has reached out to the Russian Military of Defense for comment since the outbreak of war. Russia has repeatedly denied it targets civilians, a claim disproven by attacks on civilians and civilian targets that have been verified by the reporter and others news organization. BN Das report for Sak TV USA.